Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the High Level Release Radar, where we recap all of the new releases from the week. It's Friday again, Ryan. Here we are.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I am going to make sure that we are streaming in all the places. Well, I don't see us streaming here yet. What's going on with our stream?
Our production manager quit last week, so.
Here we are. Now I see us. Okay, awesome. I'm going to share us into the group. As always, if you can see us and you can hear us, please say hello. We love to see your faces, your comments, and we'd love to hear about what you're excited about.
Yeah, what have you discovered that we don't even know yet?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Okay, cool. So we should be live in all of the places. Let me open up the chat box so we can see the chats as they come in. Ryan, I feel like this is this is a week representative of what we talked about at Summit, that, hey, we are really going to double down on refinements, smoothing edges. We had a ton of sort of back-end updates. We'll see some of that, but some of it is hard to represent visually in the slides. But just want to make sure we give a shout out to the team for all that back-end work that they do on a daily basis.
Yeah, there's been a ton of that, and we've mentioned this in the town halls as well. But we're rethinking some of our approaches to things, which makes the development timeline a little bit longer, but we get what we actually need. So thanks for bearing with us as we do this the right way. I think you're going to be impressed with the results.
Awesome. Well, let's hop into the first release of the week. Contacts, tasks, company, and bulk action in internationalization. I think it's like 12 languages. How many languages?
12 languages, both the French and the Canadian French. Shout out to the Canadians out there. But yeah, so for the contact, in the contact module, tasks and companies and so forth, the labels are now internationalized. So you pick your language and it switches to that. And you're going to see a lot more of this as time moves on. But this was a big lift for the contacts module team.
Love it.
Yeah.
And that's just gonna continue to roll out across the app, more and more internationalization. Chat widget internationalization as well. We've got a nice visual of that here. Love it. And this was a really big one. So you can now accept Square payments in HighLevel calendars.
Yes. So you'll notice this as time goes on. We're adding more and more of these, but the payments module, sort of as we're calling it, within the sub accounts, essentially allow us to have feature parity like throughout everything. And I think this is one of the very last ones that we have to integrate. So yeah, if you use calendar payments and you use Square, today is your day to be able to switch over to that payment method.
Yeah, that's a really big one. I'm excited to see the usage on that spike up, as I'm sure it will. Calendars, we got trigger-based scheduling in workflows. Oh,
Yeah.
this one is really cool. So I never even thought about this one, and I was surprised that it hasn't been like more of a thing. Because when I saw somebody point it out, it made total sense. And then I feel like a week later, this rolled out.
Yeah. So essentially, like this example is you have a form that gets submitted and then you want to book an appointment. So you get a lot of different customization here. Obviously, you can pick the calendar that it goes to. You can even choose the person that's going to get booked with it. And then in the next slide, I kind of break this up. In the next slide, it shows how you can even use webhook data and custom values to bring into that as well. So for the time and so forth. So a lot of great customization and ability to really hone in a workflow for when somebody signs up for a thing or fills out a form or some sort of trigger happens, that you can schedule an appointment.
Yeah, this is like, I think this kind of stuff is traditionally done through API, but now we can do it through the workflow interface where we can create a booking without somebody having gone through a booking widget.
Yeah.
Which I could see all sorts of scenarios for that. And I saw somebody again pointed out in the Facebook group, and they were kind of like befuddled that you couldn't do it. And at first I was like, well, why wouldn't you use the widget? There's all sorts of reasons why you might not be using the widget, but now you can use a workflow to create the booking.
Yeah.
Love
class booking would be a great example of that. You want to sign up for a class, automatically throws you into that class booking calendar. So, yeah.
Love it. Media Library got an update this week. It now accepts font files. So walk us through that, Ryan. What do we mean by that?
Yeah. So in the past, some of you may be aware that if you wanted to use custom fonts, we'll say fonts that weren't supported, like non-Google fonts, there was this kind of weird workaround where you had to create a course and upload the media file that way to get the link. Now you can upload the font files directly to the media library. It accepts all the sort of normal font or typeface files. There's a 100 megabyte upload limit, but then you can reference those, get the link to that font file, and then reference it in CSS if you're building it that way. Chase and I were talking before this that it would be great, and I think we're going to get to a place where when you upload it, then you can just select it from the font menu as you're editing like a web page or what have you. So if that's
Step
not
in
in the
the
works,
right
we'll get it in the works, but that makes the most sense.
Step in the right direction. I think if you've been using custom fonts and you know the frustration that you've faced, that's gone. You can now upload it right to the media library, grab the link that you need. But we'll continue to evolve this to the point where it's just the easy button where you upload a font and then you can select it.
Yeah.
So great update there. I think that's a big frustration alleviator for those folks that are using custom fonts. Voice AI got an update this week. You can add custom examples to the.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of back and forth on this. I think we're going to be doing some refinement, but the idea is that you can give it an example of what you would be updating when as the action. So in other words, when the voice AI picks up that has the conversation, what do you want to happen afterwards? If you wanted to update a contact field, you can now give an example of what that would be. So
Just helps the bot understand what we're talking about, right, and what it should do.
exactly, yeah.
And another update to voice AI, we have feedback. You can add feedback to calls.
Yes. So this is super helpful. I mean, a lot of people think that like the feedback buttons don't do anything. This actually does. So as you're going through the calls and everything, you can really dial it in really nicely by giving it a thumbs up and a thumbs down, and then describing what went wrong. Let's say if it wasn't a great call, and it actively learns from all that. So that would be on the right hand panel as you're in the voice AI interface, which is looking really nice, by the way.
Wow, that's sweet. I didn't see that one, but that's awesome. Another update to voice AI, it got a ton of new voices, like a ton. How many
Yeah,
did we
there's
have?
like we should almost pare this down a little bit. You could spend it's like the ringtones, just spend an hour picking out your ringtone. Uh, anyway, we got basically access to whatever type of voice you want. It's there, and there's a nice little description of what it means, not just the name of the voice. So, or the characterization of the voice. Let's call it.
Yeah, and to be clear, this isn't other languages yet, although we will get to other languages. This is like accents in English, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I saw a lot of people excited for like Spanish and other languages, which again will come. But for right now, we've just uploaded a bunch of varieties to the English language, which people have been asking for as well. Looks like
Mhm.
Peter's excited about that. Yes, we are very excited too. Anne Marie's asking, can we upload our own voices yet? Not yet, but I'm sure we will get there at some point where you could train it on your own voice, which will be pretty cool as well. But for the time being, we've got a lot more flexibility now.
Mm-hmm.
Payments got an update where we can do bank debits only. So bank debit only
Yes.
capability for invoices.
So this is actually a really big one. I'm sure the people that know what this is know exactly what it means, but for those of you who don't, in the past, you kind of have to like offer one or the other. It's like, do you want a credit card or not? There's a lot of things with like higher ticket type invoices that you don't actually want to absorb the credit card fees and deal with all that. You just want an ACH bank transfer. So now you have the ability to sort of enforce that and say like, hey, this invoice, it's 10 grand for roof repairs. We don't want to pay the two point whatever percent for credit cards on this. So you're going to need to send it directly from your bank. And it now supports that. So you can enforce that policy.
Yeah, pretty nice. Like you said, I think a lot of people are really happy because when you get to those high volumes of payments, it is quite a fee that you're going to pay on the credit
Yeah,
card side. So now you've
good
got
limit.
that ability to make sure that it saves the money and goes through the route that you wanted to go through. Ecom got an update. We have import product descriptions from Printful. I feel like, Ryan, is this something that you personally pushed over
Yes.
the
Yes, we are
or
working on, some Printful stuff, and yes, the previously, if you didn't know, we have a Printful integration, so if you have a Printful store, you can import all the products, all the variations and everything directly into an e-com store within HighLevel, but there was one sort of critical missing part, which was the descriptions didn't carry over. There was some technical back and forth with the teams there. They got that resolved, so now when you do an import, it brings in all your descriptions and saves you a ton of work. So,
Love it.
mhm.
Yes, hopefully everybody's aware you can create a high-level e-com store connected to Printful. They've got thousands of products in their catalog, like t-shirts, mugs, hats, stickers, all that kind of stuff. So when somebody buys your swag, they print it and ship it. So you don't have to warehouse or deal with any of the shipping or anything like that. It's an amazing opportunity to create automated swag stores for any business.
Mhm.
So if that sounds exciting to you, definitely check out that integration. Workflow Pro Plan Cyber Week offer. Oh, this is cool. So this is like a special offer for
Yeah.
one of our.
You're breaking up there a little bit, Chase, but, if you can hear me, the Workflow Pro Plan Cyber Week offer is, all about getting, um, the next 3 months for basically half off. So it's $15 for, charge to the agency, for the next 3 months. So previously, I believe it was that there was a $10 fee for each month, and now so it's kind of like a bulk thing that we're doing there. Chase may have dropped off. I'm not sure if I have either, but we can keep rolling. Uh, let's see where we're at. Yeah, we may have lost Chase. No. All right. Well, since it looks like I am the only one here, that is all good. What we're going to do is go on to the next one. I'm not sure I can share my screen here, but let's see if we can just make it happen. Entire screen. Okay. We're moving on the fly here. Do the slideshow. All right. Remove source. Bear with me here a minute. And okie dokie. Oh, doesn't look like I'm able to share my screen, even though it looks like I am, but I'll just walk through it for you anyway. The next thing that we have here is prospecting tool. So the prospecting tool has a new categorization feature where you can go in and, like, let's say you've got a ton of different prospects that you have across different types of businesses. Now you can describe what that business is in a category. So let's say you've got law firms, and maybe you also have pool cleaners. So now you can assign categories to each one of those, so that you don't have to worry about filtering through a huge list of everything there. And here's Chase with the visual on that. So I think we're good there. Um, Anything more to add about the categorization there, Chase?
So I don't know what just happened. My internet didn't die, but my restream did. So okay, it looks like you're sharing now, which is awesome. Uh,
Yep.
what are we
So
up to now? Categorization for prospects. Are we switching it back to? Okay,
yeah.
we're good.
So no, we're good. I can kind of continue through here. So this I was just going over the prospecting tool categorization that we were talking about earlier. Going to make a few adjustments to this, but super helpful to be able to sort of break everything apart and organize it. And then, of course, you can then filter based on the categories that you want to look at, and only see the prospects that are related to that those categories.
Nice, love it. All right, I'm gonna switch this back
All
to
right.
my window just so I can stay on the same page here. So we'll do, oh, oh, there we go. Okay,
Awesome.
cool. Next up, I think we're back in sync. Template library, preview sub account customizations. You didn't cover this one yet, did you?
Have not covered this one yet. No.
Okay. This one's very cool because well, first of all, let's take a step back here. Hopefully, you know that you have control over the template library system inside of your account. So you can say, like, hey, I only want to show templates from this specific category because that is the niche that I operate in. And I don't want my plumbers seeing templates about finance or something like that. You can take that even further and say, hey, I don't want you guys showing any of your templates to my customers. I want to just show them my own templates that I've put into the system. This update makes it even clearer, like when you do these customizations, what it's going to look like for your sub accounts when they're in their account looking at the options. So this is kind of nice, right? Like when you're editing visual things, you want to see what it's actually going to look like. And now you
Yeah.
have that preview ability.
Super awesome.
Yeah, very nice. And I think if you haven't played with that, I think it's an awesome opportunity if you are, building out in a niche to control what's going on in the app and, make it feel like really is something specific for that industry.
Yeah.
As we mentioned before, there were a ton of backend updates that happened this week. Calendars, appointment notes, public API. That is probably very exciting for the folks that are working with calendars through the API. This one, Ryan, you're going to have to explain app marketplace, more flexibility when using custom JS.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, if you use custom JS, there were some limitations. It was fairly technical in the description. So if you use custom JS with the app marketplace, just know you have more flexibility, and the feedback that was received on that has been resolved. So you're welcome.
nice. Ecom got some updates here. Items in the cart drawer and cart page can now be clicked to redirect back to the product detail page, which is a nice little touch.
Yep.
Ecom search results can now be applied by pressing the enter key. You used to have to hit enter. Now you can just you used to have to
It's
click.
like my number one feature that I request. Like, hey guys, enter key. I don't want to touch the mouse, dude.
There you go. So now you
Yeah.
don't have to. RSS got improvements. There's a new feed count limit and enhancements. RSS is pretty cool. If you don't know what that means, you should check it out because you can automate a bunch of stuff via RSS. And then email templates. I saw a lot of people in Slack getting really excited about this one. We now have public API support for the email templates.
Yeah. So essentially, we have a public API now that you can integrate with, and you can do things like create an email builder template. You can update templates. You can fetch all email templates. You can delete email builder templates, etc. So more endpoints coming to that soon, but the basics are there, and I think it's pretty powerful for the devs.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, it's that time of the week when we get to talk about the excellent upcoming releases. Man, talk about
Shout out to Wayne's
nostalgia.
World.
One of my faves. I recently introduced my kids to the world of Wayne's World, and they were just like, "What the heck is that?"
You had to be there.
You
You had
did. I guess you did have to be there. So coming soon, D-Tube like Snoop. Ooh, I haven't seen this one yet. So this is a way to sort of clean up dupes.
Yeah. So actually, this is another one that got brought up in a town hall recently, and we're like, guess what? It's on the way. Just be patient. And then we had to slide the next slide. So big issue with any kind of database. Doesn't matter if it's contacts or addresses or whatever. Any app in the world, deduplication, getting cleaning up the things that are just clogging up the database is super important. So now we're going to have a tool that allows you to do that in a sort of a systematic way. Similar to how iPhone works, they have a deduplication tool for photos, so you don't store multiple of every photo. It's the same idea here, and it looks really cool. Really well thought out, nice interface, and so you'll be able to clean things up very easily.
Yeah, this is nice. And I love this. Can I get a laser? Oh, laser. I love that find by email. That tells me that we'll be able to tell it what we want to search on. We have a lot like people switch their email in the system and now they're in the system twice, but they have the same relationship number. So if we could search by relationship number and merge people, all that kind of stuff will be very helpful. So this
Yeah.
does look great. Very excited for that. And we've got another exciting update in the works: associate notes and tasks with objects. Ooh.
Yes. So custom objects is a big thing, but a lot of people don't, maybe they haven't put together that we already have objects. An object would be like contacts, like that's an object. And then you have records, you have people that are contacts, and then you have fields that are in each record, right? So this gives you the ability, as we're bringing on more objects, some of them are built in and some of them are custom to you. You can now associate, or you will be able to associate notes and tasks with different objects. So let's say, I mean, we've been using the example of real estate. I think it kind of makes sense because there's a lot of different parties involved. Um, but you could say, okay, here's a note that's relevant to a house, which is an object that they're buying or selling, and it's relevant to various contacts that would be buying and selling the house. So that when you're looking through the notes, you're not just seeing, you're not having to go and hunt for like, oh, did I put it under a specific contact? Did I put it under a specific house record? It will just show up in all of those places because they all have a relationship to one another.
Hmm. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world of custom objects is pretty new to me, but it's crazy what you can do. Um, I also heard that I think everybody's waiting for the triggers and actions for custom objects, and they should be right around the corner as well. I don't know if you've seen any designs on those recently, Ryan.
Haven't seen those designs, but I'm assuming based on what they've done in the past that it's going to look great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, lots of amazing stuff coming for the world of objects, custom objects, more and more. I would call this enterprise level of flexibility here in the CRM side of things, which is always exciting.
Mhm.
But as always, we'd love to know what you are excited about. What was your favorite update of the week, and what are you most excited to see come into the system in the near future? Um, as we talked about earlier, you can expect a lot more like speed enhancements, refinements, rough edges being rounded out as the teams really focus on sort of cleanup as we head into the next couple of quarters. But of course, we'll be launching new features as always on the way. Ryan, would you like to send us out this week?
Yes, sir. Everybody, as I told everyone else on the previous meeting, I hope you had a great week. And if it wasn't a great week, you've got another one coming up to retry. So get after it, and we'll see you on Monday.
I love it. See you guys next week.